Right now, I'm standing where a new city is planned to be built. There'll be 2 million square meters of gross floor area available for development, space for over 80 buildings, huge amounts of open space, thousands of jobs and residents, and so much more. And it's all being built from scratch. No, this isn't China or Dubai. This is Sydney. This is Bradfield. Western Sydney International Airport is expected to open in late 2026, and it has presented a unique opportunity for Sydney to spur urban development in a previously empty part of our city. This is a real and rare chance for us to learn from the mistakes of our old city and create something truly incredible. But, like anything, there's risk attached to Bradfield. For just 8 kilometers to the southeast of Bradfield sits a train station. It's been 10 years since it opened, but there's still nothing here. Build it and they will come. That's what everyone says, even I've said it. But what if it's not true? Does Leppington foreshadow Bradfield's fate? I'm Sharath and welcome to Building Beautifully. Before I continue, massive shout out to my monthly Patreon supporters. Please do consider supporting me over on Patreon if you can. Also, please subscribe if you haven't already, and do be sure to check out the rest of Building Beautifully, where I discover Sydney one story at a time. I went to an open day at Bradfield in late June, where they were touring the public around Bradfield's first building, an advanced manufacturing facility. Very nice building with a beautiful timber facade. Upstairs, the rooftop was quite pretty. Lots of greenery and solar panels, which really made the building feel one with nature. Great view out towards the upcoming metro station too. More on that later. We had a chance to look at the actual manufacturing hall too. They're putting together all sorts of parts here, such as hydrogen tanks and aeroplane parts. By the way, if you're wondering how you can find out about these open days and attend, you can simply join my Discord server, where I tell everyone each time that there is an upcoming event. Let's be real, Western Sydney is often pretty unloved compared to the East. It's got less jobs, less businesses, and less infrastructure. Bradfield is largely about rebalancing this divide, decentralising Sydney and encouraging people out west.
Western Sydney is obviously Australia's manufacturing strength area, so we're looking to play an important role in that and also leverage off that, including through our Advanced Manufacturing Readiness Facility.
Let's explore the Bradfield City Centre Master Plan. For now, Bradfield City Centre is restricted to an area of 114 hectares. To compare, Sydney CBD is 294 hectares. However, there is still abundant room for Bradfield to grow. Let's look at some of the new major roads outside the CBD. The Eastern Ring Road will be for 3 traffic. It'll be 4 lanes, allowing cars, buses and freight to get to the city. Badgerys Creek Road will serve a similar purpose but more directly linked to the new airport. And 15th Avenue West will include a dedicated bus lane in each direction. All these roads will include separated paths for pedestrians and cyclists. Within Bradfield CBD, there'll firstly be Metrolink Boulevard. It'll be 6 lanes wide, but 2 of these lanes will be offset median bus lanes. These will reduce conflicts between buses and turning cars, improving bus journeys. Transit Boulevard, right in front of the new metro station, will be a 4-lane road with wide bus shelters, a bi-directional bike lane, and the potential to become a bus-only road in the future. Amazing, but honestly, why not just start with bus-only now? There's Commercial High Street Type A, with 2 lanes for driving, 2 lanes for parking, and separated bike lanes. Type B is the same, but without a median. Honestly, these roads are kinda wide. Wide roads can be difficult and alienating to interact with on foot or bike, which may encourage car journeys over active transport, even when these roads have separated paths. I could be wrong, but a road as wide as Transit Boulevard right outside a CBD metro station seems a bit much. And this road splits the CBD in 2. It very well could act as a barrier to movement. But hey, most roads won't be like this. City Street will be more like a laneway, not intended for much traffic. These type of streets are all over Europe, where people own the streets, not cars, so that's a win. City Walk East Street will be a pedestrian mall like Sydney's Pitt Street. Then there's Green Loop. It'll be a discontinuous loop around the CBD exclusively for people, with lots of trees and waterways to encourage outdoor dining, public seating and interaction with nature. Bradfield certainly seems to have a strong focus on being in touch with nature. You know what else is in touch with nature? My beautiful new bamboo standing desk. 10 out of 10 segue, I know. My sponsor today is FlexiSpot, who sent me this desk. I know I probably seem like I'm always out and about, but honestly, YouTube involves a lot of hours just sitting in front of a computer and not really being very active. What the hell are you... Mate, you're using it wrong. Better. This standing desk has gotten me out of my chair and actually standing up, which besides making me feel less lazy and more energized, is also known to help with reducing stress, back pain, and your risk of heart disease and obesity. Standing desks are also known to improve mood and boost productivity. Who knows, maybe I'll be making 20 videos a month about the Sydney Metro now. Surprisingly enough, this table isn't controlled by ghosts, but rather electricity. It's very seamless. You can even choose 4 preset heights. I just really like the feel of the desk. The bamboo is just such a nice touch, and there's also a USB and USB-C port, super handy for charging. It also only took me an hour to put the whole thing together, which really surprised my mom. FlexiSpot have been generous enough to offer Building Beautifully viewers a 10% discount on their tables. Use the code BUILDING and follow the link in the description to redeem this offer. Also, FlexiSpot are doing a sale with up to 60% off their products from July 15th to the 21st. You can actually use my discount on top of this sale. Thank you again to FlexiSpot for sponsoring this video. Okay, back to Bradfield. It's no secret that Sydney has a terrible active transport infrastructure. People in the city can be so melodramatic about cycling, declaring that they have to flee from new cycleways. Well, as I've already foreshadowed, Bradfield will turn the tide. This is a huge step forward for Sydney's urbanism. Now for public transport. There will be a mixture of bus routes. Rapid buses will link the city to Campbelltown, Liverpool, Penrith and the new airport. Bus route numbers have even been already announced. Frequent buses will supplement the rapid buses, and local buses will link the city to other nearby centres like Bradfield South and Rossmore. Unfortunately, it will take a long time to get to Bradfield from pretty much anywhere that isn't St Mary's or the new airport itself. It'll be about an hour from Campbelltown, Liverpool and Penrith, and these will only run every half an hour, which surely won't sufficiently encourage mode shift from car to public transport. All this could hold the city and the new airport back. I discussed this more in my Sydney Metro Western Sydney Airport video back in October 2023. Let's briefly talk about the Metro itself though.
So the great news is that we're hardwiring this new Aerotropolis with Metro connectivity, so that will go from us at Bradfield through to the airport up to the main Western line at St Mary's.
I've already given my criticisms of this project, so let's focus on the fact that this will hugely enhance connectivity to the new city centre from the rest of the city. I really don't think you could build a new city centre from scratch without some form of rail, ideally heavy.
The New South Wales and the Australian governments are also cooperating on business cases to extend it north up to Tullawong, and also 2 extensions south, one to Leppington and one down to Macarthur, Campbelltown. You don't finish what you don't start, so here we are starting that planning process.
More importantly, Bradfield's new metro station provides an anchor for everything else in the city to be built around. There will be civic and community buildings right around the metro station. Mixed-use developments will dominate, with some focused more on residential, some more on retail, and some on both. There'll also be an office and educational space in the north, which of course aims to attract jobs to Bradfield. There'll also be some cultural and leisure buildings around the creek. Importantly, this will feel like a city, with the tallest buildings being 60 metres tall. There'll be a total of 2,316,000 square metres of gross floor area. Eventually, Bradfield City Centre is to be home to 10,000 residents. Having such a strong focus on mixed-use developments will make Bradfield a 15-minute city.
Cities are more than just places to work and places to live. They're places to have fun. You know, what are the events that are going to be here? What are the festivals that can be here? So everyone loves food, everyone loves coffee. People like to have a drink after work, so we'll have those facilities here as part of the development as well.
Nothing's worse than moving into a new suburb with not enough trees or parks. So a strong focus on open spaces will improve livability and, well, happiness.
Over the top of this metro that we can see here, we'll be building a beautiful 2-hectare central park, you know, iconic open space for an iconic city.
There's a lot of other beautiful local parks planned too, and most importantly, the very large parklands centred around Thompsons Creek. These parklands will include a long waterside walkway, lookouts, swimming pools, pavilions, and more. Greenfield developments in Sydney rarely take the time or effort to be as people-focused, connected, and livable as Bradfield. That's what's so refreshing about these plans. But take a step back and you might realise that their very foundation is flawed. It all comes down to one question. Why are we trying to build a city in the middle of nowhere? Back in 2023, Liverpool's Mayor Ned Mannoun questioned why the government has spent so much on Bradfield, while leaving nearby town centres like Liverpool in the dust. He's concerned that the new city will suck the life out of town centres like Liverpool, diverting business and residential investment into them. Although he did more cynically question whether the city will work at all. It pains me to say it, but he might be right. The Western Sydney International Airport will be a game changer for Sydney, making it easier for Western Sydneysiders to travel and finally giving Sydney a curfew-free airport. But it's only expected to transport 5 million passengers a year at first. Yeah, that's roughly the same as Cairns Airport. Like anything, it'll take time for it to become busy, and for Bradfield to truly benefit from being on the doorstep to the world. So in the meantime, what will attract businesses to move to a new city centre 45 kilometres from Sydney CBD? Usually, people. That's what's happening right now in Parramatta. It's the geographical centre of Sydney. It's got an existing population, strong transport links, and so it's no wonder that businesses are moving there and thousands of residential dwellings are getting built. Bradfield doesn't really have that going for it. Yes, it's got an upcoming metro, but an indirect route means its closest existing residential catchments in Campbelltown and Liverpool can't really use it. Buses will be so slow that it could honestly be faster for residents to still commute to Sydney. It's not just about getting workers there either. How will we convince people to move 45 kilometres from Sydney CBD to the middle of nowhere? With jobs and amenities, perhaps. That whole 15-minute city idea would appeal to a lot of people, including me. But the businesses that will create those jobs and amenities will be waiting for people to move there first. It's a chicken and egg situation. Someone has to make the first step, and that's going to be tough. In Australia, historically, there's been one surefire way to convince people to move way out of the city: urban sprawl. And fair enough, you either get the convenience of living near amenities but with little space, or you get lots of space but in a location far from amenities. That leads me to one of my main fears for Bradfield. It could very well just encourage more urban sprawl. While it hasn't happened yet around Bradfield, it's already begun near Orchard Hills metro station, with the Orchard Hills North Estate releasing single dwelling lots and advertising its proximity to the new station. Maybe this isn't so bad. Giving people a huge plot of land might be the only way to get them to move here. It's a win-win. And land right next to the stations will still be preserved for densification. But even so, once you build those houses, even in locations that currently feel far from the station, you can't just magically unbuild them in a few decades when those locations don't feel so far anymore. Imagine if, in the hills, we could simply undo a lot of the urban sprawl surrounding many of the Northwest Metro stations, allowing far more people to benefit from the metro and discouraging the current park and ride model. Speaking of which, Kellyville, Bella Vista and Cherrybrook still have no developments over 5 years after the Northwest Metro opened, and those stations were on a much lower scale than Bradfield. And there's the failed Campbelltown, Camden, Appin 3 cities plan from the 70s, which I explored in this video. It was a proposal to turn these 3 cities into a huge self-sufficient metropolis with 500,000 residents. Truly, it was the Bradfield of the 70s. These plans failed because the cities were simply too far from Sydney's existing population, and the government never built enough infrastructure for the area. Does that sound familiar? I've now come to a location just 8 kilometers southeast of Bradfield, a place that currently stands as the dire proof that the build it and they will come philosophy doesn't always work. Leppington Station opened in 2015. Over 10 years later, there's still nothing here. There's no TOD, there's no retail, there's not even a single new house closer than 700 meters away. They built it, and no one came. What went wrong here? Bradfield actually has a bit to do with that. When the new airport and Bradfield City were announced in 2014, planning on Leppington kinda just stopped because of uncertainty. Ever since, planning has been tossed around like a hot potato between the New South Wales Department of Planning, Camden Council and Liverpool Council. Plus, the station sits right on the border of Camden and Liverpool councils, making land consolidation difficult. All this represents an unjustifiable failure. Millions of taxpayer dollars were spent on a station that no one has truly been able to benefit from yet, other than park and ride commuters. Thousands in this city are struggling to find somewhere to live, forced to move thousands of kilometers away to different cities, while perfectly usable land around a train station sits empty because no one can agree what to do with it. But, to be clear, that doesn't mean this is what will happen to Bradfield. For one, the stakes are a lot higher. The government has constantly emphasised that this will be our third CBD, so this can't be swept under the rug the way Leppington was, and the 3 cities plan for the 70s for that matter. Edmondson Park, right next to Leppington, has succeeded as a dense, walkable neighbourhood in Western Sydney, largely because one agency took charge, Landcom. The fact that Bradfield also has a dedicated planning authority behind it, the Bradfield Development Authority, should allow it to mirror Edmondson Park's success, rather than Leppington's failure. This alone isn't enough. Complacency must not kick in. Bradfield is a risk, no doubt. The momentum behind Bradfield is there, for now. But if planning and development moves too slowly, it'll evaporate in no time. So, for starters, don't start tossing around plans between agencies. Don't start rewriting planning controls. Don't have a million planning strategies all conflicting with one another. Keep it simple and straightforward. Get Landcom, New South Wales' state developer, to build the first few residential mixed-use developments. That'll get the ball rolling. Try to resist releasing single-dwelling lots, no matter how tempting it might be. Better transport links will make Bradfield much more attractive to work and live in. So make buses run more frequently. Extend the Western Sydney Airport Metro south to Macarthur and north to Leppington. Extend the Southwest Rail link to Bradfield, and even ambitiously extend the Sydney Metro West to Bradfield.
A big vision, which is going to have such an impact for the community and for the economy. It's not something way off in the future, it's happening right now. You know, we're opening it, we're changing, we're creating it, so it's beginning to have an impact already, and that impact is only going to get better and better.
Bradfield's success is far from assured, but God, I wanted to succeed. It represents everything, well, almost everything, we should want from our cities. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. It's been 10 years since it opened, but there's still nothing, and it's darkening again. It always darkens after about 5 seconds. It's to Bradfield sits a train station. Why is it getting darker again? It's been 10 years since it opened, but there's still, why is it darkening again? Don't go dark, Stay light. Oh my god. Freeze, you idiot. I don't know how to use my camera. Where's Martin when you need him? It's Tate's a photography king. He would know how to do this. But I don't, because I'm not Tate's dad. Well, now it's staying still. Nope, it's getting... okay. That's the problem. So the shutter speed keeps changing.